Good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, kere meir, and marapan. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 67 of the podcast Each One, Teach 10, An Amazing World of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Mr. Amit Kumar, a computer teacher at Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya at Theog, Shimla of Himachal Pradesh in India, and has made science and math learning a great fun for students. He's adopted a blended learning approach to put his computer's education to the best use and has used free and open source softwares based MOOCs to reach out to students in the same class, but with different abilities to learn by introducing collaborative flipped learning in the classroom to implement the four C's, which are communication, critical thinking, creativity, curation, and collaboration, to empower students and teachers with the 21st century skills. He's made science learning on all-round experience to students. It's my honor to have you here on my podcast, Mr. Amit. How are you doing today?
Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Namya.
Thank you so much, sir. And before we start, we'd love to know more about the work that you've been doing.
Yeah. Okay. As you have already introduced me in a beautiful manner, and thanks uh, for that nice one. So, I'm Amit, and I'm an educator, researcher, and trainer, and I'm working for Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and I've been um, doing a lot of research in wireless communication as well as educational technologies and implementing the same in my teaching learning process of late. And yeah, in fact, I've been rendering my services as a resource person or a trainer to various government organizations in India like IIT Bombay and CIET-NCERT as well as NCTE, which are all funded by Ministry of Education, Government of India. And as Namya has already told that it's all about ICT and innovation in teaching learning process in my case. So, and I love my students and I love my trainees as well. And I'm on a path to present learning.
That for me is like really inspirational that you're passionate about teaching and you have that connect with your trainees and with your students. So I have this question, how have you used ICT to connect with students in the same class who have different levels of learning capacity?
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. Actually, what I do in my classroom is all based upon the research. Two theories I would like to quote here. One is the Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, and other one is basically the learning pyramid of Mainz US. So it's like if we see the Howard Gardner theory, it actually conveys that students cannot be assessed by one type of intelligence, and many students have many level of intelligences. In fact, they have many type of intelligences. And another theory, which is about the learning pyramid, it says that the learning style of every student is absolutely different. And if we see it from a teacher's perspective, like a lecture method to reading to audiovisual to demonstration method, or in other words, I want to say that we want to look from the students perspective, like auditory learners or the visual learners and ultimately the kinesthetic learner. And in that particular pyramid we can observe that maximum amount of learning happens when we teach others. So it is actually means motivating me to know the learning style of my student. So I often conduct the walk test for my student uh, to identify their learning style, and then I introduced in fact two mm, teaching learning approaches. One is the blended learning, and is the flipped classroom. And by applying these two techniques in my teaching learning transactions, I actually address the needs of the heterogeneous learners in my classroom. Through blended learning, I'm able to address the needs of the students with various learning styles by, or maybe various learning pace, or the speed levels. So, as I introduced like FOSS based MOOCs in my classroom as a blended learning. By that, the students would be able to learn through self-paced modules, which are anytime anywhere e-learning modules mapped with my curriculum. So they are actually able to able to adjust with their speed of learning. The slow learners are able to cope up with their pace, and the fastest one are actually able to harness the maximum out of those. And the another thing which I mentioned, like flip learning approach, it's like I introduced the project based learning in my classroom, assigning various roles to various students as per their learning style and capability. So in that way, I'm able to address the need of different level of learners in my classroom.
That's really amazing that, using, different techniques based upon research, like you mentioned those two theories, theory of multiple intelligence learning pyramid. Like the first one is for students who cannot be accessed by one type of intelligence because they have different types of intelligence. And second one, like you said, that learning style of every student is very different. And that's totally agreeable. And when you mentioned that maximum learning happens when we teach others, so in that way, it helped you to learn their learning type. And by using, different methods of learning like blended learning, flipped classroom, you were able to understand how students are, learning in the classroom. And I really found the fast bake MOOCs like really an interesting idea to help students learn through their own pace. And that actually also helped them to adjust, like you said. And of course, project based learning, like any challenge based, project based, research based, always helps us to, take one step ahead and also just go beyond that limit and research more. And that also helps us to enhance our learning levels, and the ones who actually have good, they can become better than that.
Yes.
Right, sir. So moving on to my next question, for your students you've used interactive tools like Flip, Wakelet, and other tools as well. How have you empowered those students with these tools?
Okay, yeah. Actually, here tool is not the focus. Means like Flip or Wakelet or Adobe or any other tool. It's not the focus. The inculcation of 21st century skills through student-centered learning is the focus, because I am always looking to inculcate the 21st century skills like communication, creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, curation, digital citizenship, and complex problem solving skills in my learners through group project or project based activities, where they take the lead role in the flipped setting most of the time, and they come prepared in my classroom. They teach me in the classroom many times, and in that way, I actually empower them for the future. So for instance, if I use Flip, so Flip is to empower their critical thinking, communication skills, as well as their collaborative skills. And if I focus on Wakelet, I address all the five C's like critical thinking, collaboration, curation of the content, as well as your digital citizenship or creativity. And if I talk about Adobe Express, it's again creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration. So main focus I make is on the skills, and tools are the way to achieve those skills actually.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. This not this tool that is helping, it's just a way to achieve those skills. And I really love that you're using 21 CLD to actually, get to the outcome. And that is your main approach. Like you mentioned, through group projects, students take the real lead role in a flipped environment. And that's really amazing that you've assigned, how you're able to enhance certain skills, like you said, through Wakelet, you're enhancing the 5 C's and digital citizenship. Through WebFlip, you're enhancing critical thinking, communication, collaboration. I totally agree with that. If you're talking about Flip, if a child is not in much able to talk to people in the classroom face to face, but through Flip, you're just speaking out to yourself and you're recording all the responses and giving it out. That gives you the confidence to speak up more, and then slowly it also helps you to speak up more face to face. So that's amazing.
Yes.
Right, sir. Moving on to my next question, I've seen that you stress a lot on creating e-content by students. So how can teachers help the students to do these?
Okay. Actually, I have already taken a step for this question, which is that I always believe that teaching is the highest level of learning. So I always like push my student that they should create e-content mapped with the curriculum, because if I remember my time when I was a student, and I picked and choose. I didn't learn everything. I just skipped few topic, and in fact, in order to pass my exams also, I just picked and choose only those topic, those with which I was comfortable. I wasn't able to go through the whole syllabi. So, in the same manner, I can understand that currently students are approaching their curriculum also. But if they are assigned a role of a teacher, they cannot afford to leave a single bit in their book. They have to read everything. They have to read between the lines to address the questions which everybody will is gonna ask in the classroom, or I am gonna ask in the classroom. Rather, I always remain in the role of mentor to fill the learning gaps in my classroom. But I stress my students to create content because it is equally important. Actually, they go through the syllabi or the curriculum 100%. They use their full potential, all their skill, all the creativity, all the collaboration. They gather information from here and there. They actually take it like a project, and the amount of effort they take to address this content creation. Actually, we are with my student. I'm working with a on a project called For the Students by the Students. In that project, we create e-content mapped to our curricula, and every year we renew the content. It's like a sustainable open educational resources we are creating for our classroom, and the best one we keep updating so that our whole curriculum remain updated by the students for the students.
That's really significant that you're helping your students to create e-content mapped with the curriculum. And I absolutely agree with the point that you mentioned, that when you have exams and you're just a student, like you'll just learn some specific topics that the teacher says are important, and you'll go and you'll get enough marks that you require. But when you're the teacher, you will have to read everything when you make the curriculum. That's absolutely agreeable. And I really love the idea of for the students and by the students that you're creating an open education resource where everyone can access the content, and the best one is being updated again and again for the school. That's also a good initiative for students to learn more skills and, like you said, work at the fullest potential.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to add here that it is also based upon a research by Sunny Magana. It's called T3 framework, which when you integrate technology into the teaching learning process, it should go from translational to transformational and then to transcendent domain. If you are in the translational domain, you are like only learning the content or presenting the content using the technology. It is not enough. When you are in the transformational domain, you take a leap from consumerism to producer. Means you are not a consumer, but you are now producer of the content. And when you are a producer of the content, you contribute towards the educator community. Your confidence level, your means like your growth takes a big leap. And ultimately the aim is the transcendent level, where you focus on the inquiry design, and finally you focus, or you take a leap towards the social entrepreneurship. And that should be the aim, to solve the problems of the society. For that, the T3, the third level, transcendent level, is the ultimate level. So I am trying to take my students from first to second, and then second to third level.
Absolutely, that's totally inspiring, sir. Moving on to my next question. It's a fun question. So, like, I want to ask you, like, what's your favorite book that you've read till date?
Though I've read many books, and every book touches you in a different way, but few books are like that. There, one or two lines can change your life forever. Like one of the book, it wasn't related to education though. It was "See You at the Top." It was written by Zig Ziglar, and he was a salesman. Like he wasn't an educationist, but his theories, his example, his storytelling was so inspiring in that book that one of the quote is like engraved on my mind. He said that uh, if you help enough people to get what they want, I repeat it, if you help enough people in life to get what they want, you will get what you want. And I applied it in my profession, that I am helping enough people in to get what they want in their life. In turns, I'm getting what I wanted in my life. That's it.
Amazing. I totally agree with that. And like I've got like two of my favorite books. Like that are, one of them I've already read like till date is my favorite is this book. It's called Chanakya Niti. Like
Oh,
there are many
Sam
things
Dam
that,
Then Ved.
exactly. And one of them I'm really reading right now. Like I never believed in things that actually made no sense. Like the flight that landed in 1990s, it just came with after 40 years it was flying and then came back with skeletons on it, or anything about like afterlife and all. So I've read this book called Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss.
Uh-huh.
It's about like how things can go back to the past life and how things can connect it to the psychological issues that we have right now and about afterlife and all. So after reading this book, I think I started believing in those things because it's a really great book. So
Amazing.
like these are two of my top favorite right now.
Great.
All right. Thank you so much for telling us about your book. I'll surely check it out as well. And I think the listeners listening to us right now will surely check it out too.
Great.
So my next question for you, sir, is you've always, kept yourself informed on new technology information. And the Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs, US Department of State, has awarded you a Fulbright Distinguished Award in Teaching Program for the International Teachers 2020-2021. So can you tell us more about this?
Uh, Actually, I'm quite influenced by some people, and one of the philosopher or the future thinker I always appreciated is Alvin Toffler. He wrote a book called Future Shock in 1971, and one of the quote from Alvin Toffler always keep knocking my brain, and it's actually kindling me towards new things, innovation, grabbing the new information, looking for opportunity of growth, opportunity to grow, looking to learn always. And And the particular quote was, the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Which
Relearn.
simply means that I have to keep updating myself. I have to unlearn the things which are not required now. Maybe those were useful when I was a student, or I started my career, but now they are outdated. I have to relearn few things, and in fact, I have to keep learning the new technologies, new information, filtering those what is required for an educators. Like if I see like people are scared of the future technologies in education, if they are not updated about the disruptive technologies in their classrooms like AI, AR, VR, MR, they will pose threat to their existence, definitely. But if they are actually involving themselves with all those technologies, trying to learn them, and try to bring them in their classroom wherever they are fit best, so they will be more comfortable. So with that particular growth mindset, I always keep on learning, exploring new things, and new ideas. So it's like it's just like now a natural thing to me. Keep learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. A fixed mindset is not that good as a growth mindset because it always, very receptive to things. And I totally have read that quote as well, that the illiterate 21st century will not be those who can read and write, but those who can learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because if something, as like you said, as a teacher, if like the COVID 19 is an example of that, so teachers were able to learn how to use technology for teaching their students in the classroom. And if some of them were not receptive, they unlearned, the concept of just reading the books, but came to the online to teach in a way. And then they relearned that as well when we came back to the offline mode to interact with the students. So again, of course, learning, unlearning, and relearning is a very continuous path of life that every human being has to apply to become the best, literate person of the 21st century.
Absolutely.
So moving on to my last question for you. So where can we find you online? Also, we'd love to have a message from you for the audience listening us right now.
Okay, as a teacher or as an educator, we can say, uh, every one has to understand one thing, that teachers are the mothers of all profession. No other profession is at all possible without teachers. So we have to understand, we have to take the responsibility to be the lighthouse of the society. And our role as a teacher, as Aristotle once said, that the teacher is there to ignite the spark, not to fill the vessel with the knowledge or information. But we can see, like in the classrooms nowadays, that teachers are trying to fill the minds of the students with only information. But we have to be careful, because that information is already available in well crafted form on the internet. So we need to ignite the spark, so that they in turn ignite the society. They actually led the society at large in for the betterment of the future, for a sustainable future. So we have to keep learning, unlearning, as well as we have to get out of the fears that technology is posing a danger to our profession. No, teaching is 100% creative profession. And sometimes I hear people saying that AI will replace a teacher. So we have to understand that AI will not replace a teacher. AI will only replace the person who don't want to learn the AI to use in teaching learning process, because it's only a tool. We have created it. It has not created us. We have to understand that. So in a simple way, if you keep yourself updated, keep learning, unlearning, relearning, you won't be uh, left behind. You will always be setting the pace. You will not be following the pace.
Absolutely, so. And listening to today has just, given me this insight that everyone has a creative potential. And from the moment that we can express that potential, we can start changing the world. And absolutely, like you said, like we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. To get the fullest potential and to give out the fullest potential, we have to speak up more, communicate, collaborate, curate, and have more critical thinking skills as well.
Yeah. So,
Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor for me as well to have you on the podcast and listen to you today, to all the wonderful insights that you have shared with us. And I'm sure everyone listening us right now has as well enjoyed it.
thank you.
Right. So thank you everyone for joining us and listening to this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one, each 10, have a nice day.